And here we are, day 10, and we have just a few more days. I think 4 more days. Wow, we have 4 more days for this season of vaginas talking, speaking, whispering, shouting, screaming, to kind of find its closure. And as I was sharing with some of the sisters a few days back, that we went the uphill and now we hit the crescendo and now we are on the downward, like it's when you trek up the mountain and then you hit the peak and then you are walking down. So we are on this walking down journey. And so a shout out and thanks and gratitude to all of you who have been journeying with us on this adventure. Yeah, this walk, hike, and holding the emotions with us, sharing the, holding the emotions, the anger, the sadness, the grief, the pain, and, yeah, being there with us, laughing with us, having fun with us on this journey. So thank you so much. And to all of you. Yeah, so it's, so just, there's something that today we have, just like the piece, we have a very short piece, just like the title of the piece. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a space at the beginning to bring a little excitement also, the being a woman, the resilience of a woman needs to also be celebrated, that she shows up, like a mother, in spite of all that she goes through, she still, gets up and, puts a meal, and she has to care for a child, so she has to show up, so women, we still are, we show up, we have learned to also be resilient and to also smile and to also dance and to giggle and laugh, and that is also our power. That's also our power. So today I want to, we're going to watch a video. So Vagina Monologues, which is now under V-Day, which is a movement, they have different ways that you can celebrate V-Day. And one of the ways is on February 14th, they host the 1 billion rising. And it was estimated that the UN estimated that 1 billion women in the coming decade will move through some kind of violence or abuse. So that we can either be down in that, or we can rise and we can dance. We can, and instead of doing it, separately, when we all choose to rise, we have to create that kind of a movement on earth of 1 billion rising. So I want to begin with that video. Yeah, break the chain of violence. So I'm going to invite you, if you're watching it, wherever you are, to get up as the rhythm picks up, get up and shake your booty. Yeah, and let the vagina lead you. So let's go for it. Break the chain.
I'm not
I hope you had fun with Break the Chain. I raise my arms to the sky. On my knees, I pray. I am not afraid anymore. I will walk through the door. I will walk, I will dance, I will rise. So, yeah, when nothing works, there's always dance. So you can dance. So yes, are you ready for our piece today? And this is like, it's a short piece, but it is like the most alive piece. Especially if you are, I mean, US, I think it's still, it's not, I was surprised it was still relevant there. But in India, it is so relevant. In India, in Asian countries, yeah, that this thing about my short skirt. That's the piece today. So join us in these voices of our three sisters speaking about, reading the piece, My Short Skirt.
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, or an indication that I want it, or give it, or that I hook.
My short skirt is not begging for it. No, sir. Mm-mm. It does not want you to rip it off me or pull it down.
My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. Although it has been in the past, but no longer will it hold up in the new court.
My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you.
My short skirt is about discovering the power of my inner calves, lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing myself everything I see, I feel to live inside.
My short skirt is not proof that I'm stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl.
My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is no showing off, this is who I am. Before you made me cover it or tone it down, get used to it.
My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I'm here. I am hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the women's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country.
My short skirt is turquoise water, swimming colored little fish. It's a summer festival in the starry dark nights. It's a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign country. My short skirt is a wild, wild spin. It's a full breath, it's a tango dip. My short skirt is mine, sexy little invitation to be me.
My short skirt is initiation.
My short skirt is appreciation.
My short skirt is excitation.
But mainly,
My short skirt,
And everything under it.
is mine.
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 Well, yeah, my short skirt and everything underneath is mine. So I want to welcome our sisters who read the piece. Neha. So this is Neha's first piece in this monologue. Welcome, Neha. So, Neha is an explorer and seeker living a life that does not subscribe to have tos or should haves. Welcome, Neha.
Welcome, Rika. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And then we have Shriya. Shriya is a woman on her life path, reclaiming and discovering her yoni power.
Thank you, Rekha, for having us here.
Welcome, Shriya. And we have Preeti, who is born to be free. Yay. So wonderful to have the three of you. We'll have three more sisters joining us, but before I bring them in, I wanted to check in with you. This is a different energy, right? This piece. How was it for you to read this, and did some memories or something, resonate from the piece?
Really easy, actually, and quite relatable because growing up in good old Delhi, which is a good old place with a lot of conceptions about women. Your short skirts and your short shorts, which is extremely conducive to the weather over there. It's 43 degrees. That's what you want to wear. You want to wear thin cotton t-shirts and short shorts and short skirts and move around. But it's almost like that's an invitation for different things to happen to you, which I would not understand as a teenager because it was just very hot. and, so the understanding of how my body is not to be attired by exactly me and what I want was a very strange phenomena. So I remember my dad asking me things like, I'm walking my dog and I'm wearing short shorts, and he would say, "Don't you have anything else to wear?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have shorter shorts. Do you want me to wear those?" And then he would get really upset, and I would not understand why it was a big deal at all. It was strange to have that happen. So yeah. And I think for me, a very interesting transition was I had come to South India, and I remember being very excited because I got access to somebody's swimming pool and I could go swim. So I needed to go buy a swimming costume. And that time there were very few malls, so I went to Shoppers Stop and I was looking at swimming costume, and every costume had a little skirt attached to it. I was used to the swimming costumes, where your legs are on display and your arms are on display. No single swimming costume had the legs on display. They either had like pants attached to it or a skirt attached to it, or they were full sleeve. And I'm like, why these burqa type swimming costumes here? You need to swim. I need like, traction in water. Not one existed. It was very fascinating to see that it was a big deal.
Wow. Thank you so much, Neha. I'm just imagining that swimming costume. I don't think I've ever seen one. Well, when I was in India, I didn't know swimming or anything like that. But when I went to US, when I started that, there you will not find one. You will have to dig to find something with frills or anything like that. You'll not get it. Yeah. How about Shriya and Preeti or anyone? Do you guys have anything you want to add or share or about the piece? And
what Neha said is so relatable. Being a North Indian in Delhi or even down south, there's so much of judgment which is attached to the length of your skirt or what dress you're wearing. It becomes like they form their impression about your character. It's like a character certificate. If I'm wearing a short skirt or a tight blouse, I'm loose and I'm fast, and I need to be like avoided. All the good girls need to be avoided. And I have a very interesting experience to share from my corporate life. This is when I'm over 40, and we are having, so I worked in the IT sector for a while, and and this is this this founders day kind of a thing. It was a Guju company, and we are having this founders day and all that, and I wore a frock there which was just Southernese, and it had fat straps. No, it wasn't like even like the spaghetti straps, I think, yeah, fat straps. It was a beautiful, nice, short dress by the Guju standards. And I remember I was like a pariah in the body. Nobody spoke to me.
Wow.
I was just so uncomfortable with the gaze. And, people were there with their spouses, and they wouldn't introduce me to anybody. So it just made me feel. And, usually to work, I would wear
Yeah. Oh,
pant and trouser kind of a thing. But that day I realized that how much, even till date, how much importance is given to clothes, even in like the progressive corporate world where we talk to people across time zones and we imitate their accents and all of that, But mentally, we're still somewhere in the 14th century, the dark ages. Yeah, and another one I'd like to highlight. This is me as a child, and I think that I have still not been able to shake off. Um, so I am a voluptuous woman, I have nice curves. I'm a voluptuous goddess. And when I became a teenager, in my own house, me wearing a t-shirt or a short was frowned upon. Because my breasts were visible, and of course I had breasts, so they were going to be visible.
yeah.
So for the longest, I have not worn shorts and a t-shirt in my own house where my father would be around, because he would be uncomfortable. And so I finally, after I got back from UK in 2019, I decided I had had enough, and I that was the first time I dared to wear shorts and a t-shirt. And this is after you get up, early morning. You're just out of bed and you're just roaming around. And I think that's when I said, hey, take it or leave it. This is who I am. And a short, I mean, today on television with all these serials that you watch, you have women wearing all kinds of clothes. And if you're okay with that, if you can bring that into your house, you can definitely accept a daughter wearing I'm not asking for it. So yeah, but it took me like a good 40 years to shake that off.
Yeah. And let us give that a moment. And I'm sure there's so many of us who can relate to that, what you just shared. This systemic collective way that even without speaking, how the society and the culture and we can, make women feel ashamed of something that is so natural.
Yeah,
We,
she.
the shaming, this thing of, and what it does, it's painful. Thank you so much, Preeti, for sharing.
I would like to share. The piece actually felt like I was reading to myself. Um, because from childhood, so the society I've grown up in is a very conservative society, and even my parents and the whole and me myself, I found it took a long time for me to realize. So it felt like something that I was telling myself
Yeah.
to give myself permission to wear what I want to wear. Because a lot of times, even body shaming is something which happens. You should be of a certain structure to be able to wear a skirt. If you have a big thighs, no, sir, you can't wear skirts. It's showing off. And I've experienced a lot of that, not from outside so much, but also what is there internally. It's in the psyche to shake that off and to be free, to be myself. Even at home, if I want to, do I give myself permission to do it? Or do I think about 100 different reasons why I shouldn't be wearing a short skirt? This, I don't know how many would be able to relate to it, but this is what is alive for me right now.
Mm.
And sometimes I feel like a stranger in my own house. I'm not, basically, I don't give myself permission to do what I feel like, even if it's under my roof, within 4 walls. So it's, yeah, that's what opened up for me. So it felt like I was reading the piece to myself to say that, it's not a provocation, it's not an invitation. And it's just, me having some, taking some air, basically, allowing air to flow through. So it felt so good to read that piece.
Yeah, I really want to acknowledge that, because sometimes it's not the outside, our own internalized voices of what we, our culture tells us, and what is safe and what is not safe, or what is okay and what is not okay.
So what body type can wear it and what body type cannot wear it.
Wear it, yeah. So it's the projected fears and shame of those around us that we also
That taken in.
on, yeah, we take in, and then from inside we become the, we put those boundaries and fences on our own self, right? And I think that has happened also a lot, I'm sure all over the world it has happened.
We are the first ones to judge ourselves, basically, before anybody even opens their mouths.
Yeah.
So that's why I felt the piece is actually speaking to me, and it's me addressing myself, because yeah, there is a part of me also which is resonating, which needs to be shaken off.
Very true.
Or maybe given its place. Yeah.
Shall we welcome our sisters in?
Yeah, sure.
We have Megha, Malini, and Sunita here. Hey.
Hello.
I see Megha. Hey, Megha there. I think we also have Sunita, and there is Sunita. Welcome, Sunita. And we have Malini also joining us. And you guys have been here like a few times now. You're like veterans. Yeah. So I'm assuming that you guys heard the piece as well. Yeah. So yeah, anything you would like, and you heard their share as well, I'm assuming, right? Yeah. Anything that sits with you right now?
I think it is so relevant, this piece, that that I had such a deep resonance, and each word spoke to me, and so empowering, I think, the way it comes across, and want to own those words, like my skirt, my short skirt, my choice. And in parts, I think I resonate with each one of you and you're sharing, because I think being a woman and in India, I think it is not at all even any far-fetched imagination we need to go to experience this. I have grown up totally believing it, this to be the truth. And because wearing a fully covered chudidar with a dupatta and walking on the road or standing in a bus station did not feel safe even. Like I wanted one burqa so that I don't have to bother at all about, the gazes, and at least experience safety in the covering up. So short skirt for me was, I don't even think, a part of my wardrobe or vocabulary, skirt itself. And To an extent, it got added only a few years back, you know, because I carry it in my body today, that when I wear it, I have to feel safe. So if I do not feel safe, then, you know, wearing it is not comfortable. So to break off the impact of the gases
Yeah.
has taken me a few decades, and yeah, today I can say I am comfortable, and even to be able to say that, you know, my choice and I don't care, needs a sense of safety, because I feel if it is not safe, then I care about me not being safe, and I feel the easiest way to feel safe for women is to hide.
Yeah.
So, been hiding, done that, and now being able to come and speak about it. So, I totally resonate with each one of you.
Thank you so much, Sunita. I will see. Yeah.
I think also we tend to start this so very, very early. I was in school. My mother moved me from a school where we were all wearing skirts to this school called XY Convent. Let me not degrade the alma mater. And in that school, till class 5, everybody was wearing skirts. It was a girls' school only. There were no boys around, and all the girls were roaming around in nice, cute skirts. Come to class 6, and suddenly there was like this drastic change in the wardrobe, and everybody was wearing these pinstriped salwar kameezes. This particular school was very far from the main road. So you had a very nice road, then you had a huge courtyard, then you had the school. It was all girls school. So you like again repeating it's 40 degrees. Why do we have to wear, this? And it was like this beige colored salwar kameez. So we all looked basically like, the sandstorm of Dubai, like, very, very boring, extremely like pale, like dust. So like why can't this just be the same uniform that the primary school has? Take it forward. So the rationale given to us by the nuns were that on the edges of the corridor there was a ledge. If you were to wear a skirt, you would most likely prop one leg on the ledge. If you were to wear a skirt and have one leg propped on the ledge, then your legs are open and on display.
Oh my
And
God.
therefore, it is a provocation. Like, but it's a all-girls school. Who's getting provocated? They're gardeners, or there could be boys coming, or there could be guests, or there could be like, any which person around. It is just not safe for you to be, not even safe, it's just not appropriate for young women to be on display. So hence all of you from age class 6, which is I don't know how old people are, maybe like 12 or 11 or something, right up to 18, just drape up because it is appropriate and it is the right thing to be done, and that's how it should be. And even small things, I mean, one you talking about the skirt, I remember once, also the stance, I don't know, this a good girl will always sit with her legs closed. I don't know if your mother or father ever told you that, but that was like a thing. I remember sitting in a doctor's chamber and I was just like sprawled, and my mother like, do not sit like that. I'm like, why? Again, air up my vagina, it's hot, there is ventilation, it works. It's not okay to have your legs apart and sit as you want to. And again, that was so absurd because if my legs are closed and nobody can access it, if my legs are open and somebody's accessing it, like just the notion around how you want to move your body is also so constrained. And it's become so conditioned that now when I sit in an auto and there's lots of space everywhere, or I'm sitting in a gigantic car seat, which is the whole point is space, you still I don't know, clamp up is not the word, but condense up. You still close your legs and you still have one leg over the other, and that's how you just end up sitting. Is a very it's like your body's learned a language to adapt to somebody else and not to you. And that's a consequence of your legs should not be open.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Megha, Malini, anything that you would like to?
Interesting because the way it started and then I listened to the piece and I'm hearing all of your sisters, it's like it even shaped for me again this energy of Eros, like how much is feared, the erotic. Because when I hear my skirt, mine, for me, it's like saying, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling it today. And for me, it's not skirt, it's like shorts and long shorts. I want air passing through because I'm on an island. And like I want sleeveless and maybe I want tank tops. And I feel like there is such power when for women to feel, experience joy. Like just hearing Neha, I'm like wondering that what do they do with girls, young girls having fun and laughing and giggling? Like my niece is 13 years old and we have some of the craziest joke as people pass by, we were walking on the street and they were like, what is this like elder auntie and child? But this is the energy. And today I'm like, it takes me back again how much it's feared, right? And it's confined to a bedroom, but it's not even there. And it's kind of porn. Honestly, that's what I feel like. And yeah, it's very interesting. It is and insightful. And because I feel like all of us, but I can say as a woman, we have this building capacity to experience joy in such a way in life. And I feel like this world, let's say all of us, we even women, like when I begin to feel and understand and come to experience of how much I can feel, I'm gonna demand of this of my own self and then my life and then my partners and my family. And there's so much happening around us that doesn't want neither women or men to demand, not even demand, but like, this is how I want to meet you, and this is how I'm being met by my own self. So meet me at this level, I'll meet you alike. And to be met at this level means, like Sunita was saying, not just there is this element of safety, but it's life, it's opening up. Water. It's no more fighting what is mine and what is not mine. Yeah.
Um, it's amazing the human quality to the need to control each other, which is so high. And clothing, I think, is one of the biggest form that even at 2022, this discussion is so relevant than ever, that you shouldn't be wearing that and you shouldn't be wearing that. Incidentally, this morning I had a few clothes which I wanted to give to my house help. I thought, she'll wear it, but then she said, हम सलवार कमीज नहीं पहनते हैं. Said, हैं? Why? नहीं, वो he doesn't allow me. So this was a very, it was shocking because she's about 50, and for me it was.
She has to wear a sari, like.
Yes.
It would be so nice if it was because she wanted to wear short skirts. So I won't wear salwar.
So I was wondering, we are talking about short skirts, and there is a segment which is not even allowed to access a full clothed dress, which has no opening anywhere. Apparently, it is fully dressed, and so for me, it was very. It was shocking, and it was I was angry, a little angry. Yeah. Why do we need to control? And I come from a school where it was totally opposite of what I'm hearing from Preeti, Neha. We had teachers, our PT instructors, stand with a ruler saying your pinafore has to be 4 inches above your knee. So for me, my pinafore was stitched very aptly by my mom. The measurement given was, right on the knee or below the knee. So I was punished many times till it went to as a memo say, to my parents that it's a rule in our school, you have to adhere that, you know, pinafores have to be above the knee. So as I hear, was my school ahead? Or what was it really doing, you know? It was a co-ed school. And what's the point in saying your uniform has to be 4 inches above the knee and us wearing mini skirts? It was bizarre. And then from there, cut to my teenage, where my folks didn't allow me to wear a wraparound skirt. You know, in the 90s, there were these wraparounds which
Yeah,
looked,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And full length wraparounds. So, and even till today, somehow the conditioning in me was so strong that I myself feel that no, my thighs are so bulky, and my waist is not that Deepika Padukone thin. So I can't wear that. You know, I look bizarre, and especially as Preeti said, even I'm very conscious. My parents, if my parents are there, I'll immediately go change into a pajama. And at home, it's only the I mean, I wear shorts at home, but they cannot. It's not with the parents. They are not comfortable. So even today, clothing is something which others have to define it for you. Or even a child of 9 years old, I think I remember just now that once I had worn a skirt, and my 9-year-old nephew would say, "What have you worn?" I said,
Wow.
"Where are you getting this from? You have seen me in shorts, but where are you getting this from? What?" Mm, the shame element, because he's growing up.
Yeah.
So it's, why should anyone else decide? If I want to cover up, I cover up. If I don't want to cover up, I don't cover up. Even in 2022, the whole drama that is going on right now on the national and international front also about our headscarves
Yeah.
it's saddening, right? That women have to be told uh, that this is okay and this is not okay.
Yeah.
The reading was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhuri. And you know, as I hear all of you, you know, I'm just realizing that at my home there was never anything, no enforcement. So I think I always grew up with frocks, and my parents, I don't know, because maybe they, and when I go to Kerala, I would always see older women with no breasts, at least in our part of Kerala. In Kannur, it was still pretty much there. You know, our many of our goddess sanctums where goddess is naked, you know, so you see these. But for me, I think because I was growing up in the army and my school was very Hindi, you know, like that, I was more influenced from outside. So I used to feel like my parents, don't they have any shame? Because my mom was so comfortable in her body. She could change right in, you know, she was not, and there was no shame. My father too. Even today, we have to remind him sometimes, Dad, somebody will walk into the gate door. Please cover, you know, he has no shame. He might just walk around naked also. My father, you know, he was always very comfortable with changing, and they never projected anything. My mother never said, sit this way, never. So I sat how I sat, but the world always made me realize that who are your parents? What did they not teach you that? Like that, you know? So many things, my fight would be like, hey, I'm not supposed to be this way. What, you know, you're not telling me this. Like, you know, my mom, like even bra, my mother never got me a bra. It is because the outside world, because she never wore. They didn't wear bras there, you know, unless she went out. It was not the culture. So my teacher shamed me in class. And then I came and told my mom, I'm supposed to wear a bra. And my mom said, not yet. I said, no, I'm not going back to school till you get me a bra. Because, you know, everyone, you know, my teacher really shamed me, and it was a huge, that closed up. That's when I first knew what shame was. Till then, I used to wear the shimmies, walk around, go everywhere, you know, like not even put the dress on. it was interesting. And I even remember that, because we came from quite a very low income family. So many of my dresses were my mom's sari or something, that was stitched. So I still remember when I was in, and in school you have a uniform. In central school, my generation still had skirts, and then it became salwar kameez towards the end. When I was in 11th, 12th, it became salwar kameez. Till then we were all in skirts. And I remember when I was in engineering, I had to buy a short skirt. And I remember, my mom is like, what is this obsession with the short skirt? I was like, we have to go. And I remember she came with me. We walked to the city searching. I bought a short skirt. I wore it. And it was my mom was finding that, because she was so comfortable with her body, that she could not understand, what is it? Who are you doing this for? And so my shame had nothing to do whether I was covered or not covered. The grabbing never was always there. So I never connected that to me wearing or not wearing, whether I wore or I do not wear. When you're outside in army, you never meet that. In army, you do not. It's the safest place. Nobody really cares. But the minute you go out, you feel like, which world is this? Suddenly everybody's looking at you, and I think, yeah. And I think it was when I went to US is when the first time that I really saw, you could wear anything. I mean, I didn't even see around me that you could wear, you don't even go to shops. And in my, time, I was not getting these clothes. So where do you see it to buy it? There was not TV. I got TV in my house when I was in 11th grade. So I didn't see, and in Hindi films that time were all birds, things like, it's like a different time, right? That I remember first time reading James Hadley Chase when I was in 8th grade, Never Love a Stranger. The first time when I saw the cover, I was like, oh, this exists in this world. Like, you could wear whatever and you could not wear. And, so it's a very interesting, but still, in spite of that, I remember how much shame I internalized. By the time I came to engineering and I even got married, I had a lot of shame to see my body naked. And it came from the world, a lot from the world. Like my shoulders became like that. And yeah, it's like, it takes a lot of, coming out. We don't need the world to put chains on us. We can do a very good job ourselves. We can do such a thorough job for ourselves, and I feel once we are adult, most of the chains, it's ours.
Yeah.
Right? There are no other chains.
Also, if you want to break the chain and try different things, it's really funny because it's just not available. So just very, very recently, last couple of months, I suddenly got into this whole thing of wanting to buy something nice to wear at night. And by nice, I did not mean soft hosiery or soft
Like
cotton.
lingerie, like that.
I meant like sexy, lacy, black, not necessarily covering a lot, something which was erotic and interesting. So I went to fancy stores, right? So I would go to a Marks and Spencer's and say, hey, do you have something nice for me to wear at night? They're like, yes, ma'am. All right, please show me. So then we would go and she would show me nice long pajamas with a full sleeve t-shirt. Like, it's very nice, ma'am. It's very soft. I said, that's great. I get it. But I was looking for something more sensual. So she looked at me and says, what word again? I said, okay, something sexy, like racy, something nice. That we do not have, ma'am. Nobody buys those things in India. So
Wow.
I'm like, wow. So I'm like, okay, wrong shop. Clearly this is wrong research. Must not go to mainstream. Must go to something more, in line with lingerie. So go to a lingerie store. So go to lingerie store. Go to Zivame and say, hey, Zivame, do you have something for me? I would like to buy something, interesting, because no, that stuff is out of stock. We don't. Nobody buys it. Nobody stocks it. So we ain't going to get it. I could not find it for the love of God anywhere. So other than online, which is discreetly hidden in some e-commerce bucket, on the roads in mainstream, it does not exist because sexy is not celebrated. It's as simple as that. There is no need for you to be sexy. All you need to be is covered up, and that's how it is.
That's news to me. Like, even Zivame stores don't carry
No.
lingerie. Wow.
I mean, they don't carry like they'll carry a nice sturdy bra that can help you through the day and go to work. But in the night, why do you need one?
Yeah.
Sexy is feared rather. Not even not celebrated.
What is that, Megha? What did you say?
I'm like, sexy is feared. It's not about not being celebrated, and it's distorted. So we don't even know what sexy means. We think sexy ends up with being half naked or like quarter claws, and that's not sexy, but it's feared.
Yeah.
Like look at Instagram,
use
look at
the
all the
next-
social media.
Megha, use the next level word. You used it before, erotic. Let's just go to the.
Yeah, erotic is feared. It is feared.
Yeah.
Like I was born in Mauritius, and my paternal grandmother, my Pati, she never wore bra. So I grew up sewing I was lucky to see that. And she told, it's like she never spoken about it, but like I learned that from her. And I don't even know if she ever even wear panty. Maybe
Yeah.
when she was bleeding, but I've never seen her. And at night, like they still had that same thing where the toilets was outside, not even inside the house. So she'll go out and she won't even she'll just have a skirt, bra full, breast full out. It was like scary as a child to see that, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel erotic is feared. Yeah.
I was working with
Playing with claws is erotism. It's feared.
it's very interesting what you just said about naked breasts and erotic. I was working in the social sector, and I was working with this tribe of Bade Marias, which are tribals. Half women are topless, and this is in Gadchiroli, the jungles of Gadchiroli, which is in
Which
Maharashtra.
state is that?
Rashtra. So it's that
Maharashtra.
common area with MP,
Okay.
Andhra, that side. So we were fighting a case there, and the mother of the boy we were kind of representing. If all the women were topless, completely.
Yeah.
And it was the most natural thing for the men in that tribe. They were complete, nobody had eyes popping. The women were so proud of their bodies. And our entourage, including me, the women, the men, the moment we entered that village, and my God, everybody's eyes popped out. We had not seen breasts like that. And it was just shocking, and nobody could look away. And that's when I realized, that and that lady was just sitting in front of us and talking. And one day she came with us to the Nagpur High Court. And that, so first time she came as she was. And the entire High Court, I think it probably had the maximum attendance. And she was like this 70-year-old lady. Okay, everybody turned up to see her, and that was the first time she knew shame. So the next time she came, she was covered. She wore blouse. And so, I being myself naughty, I asked her, I said, what, how do you feel with your breasts uncovered? And she said, in our folklore or our wisdom, it is said that women who cover their breasts are so full of shame that they are sexually inept. They are not in touch with their sexuality. And I was just shocked. I had never thought of it like that. And when I went back and thought about it, I said, shit, that's so true. I'm constantly, if I go out, I'm thinking, oh my God, my strap is not showing, I'm constantly thinking of how I'm appearing, whether there's shame coming my side. I don't feel sexy as such. And this is this lady, and I mean, and thank God, Western education and Western schools had not reached her in that village. And that's why she was who she was. She continued to live her truth. And my grandmother had something very similar to say to me also. As a teenager, I asked her, I said, why are we like this? We are the land of the Kama Sutra, and, we celebrated bodies. Why, when did we become like this? And she told me something very interesting. She said, Preeti, when I was a young kid, there were Britishers all around us. And wherever there was a British camp near us, they were like, like a Indian settlement, they would just pick up the girls and take them away. So that is the first time when parda started coming in. We had to cover ourselves so that we did. They didn't. Their eyes did not. Their gaze did not fall upon us. We had to hide, and now it's completely we've forgotten who we were, and we're just hiding. Like Sunita said, that we live hiding ourselves, camouflaging ourselves.
According to that woman's wisdom, the maximum of us, majority of us are living in shame because we are all fully clothed today, and we have double and sometimes 3 layers of clothes just to see that this is not bouncy and somewhere something is not showing, and we have.
And we are the progressive ones, so-called educated progressive ones, and there's this lady is just so natural.
Yeah. And it's not that far long. Like if I look at Kerala, when 60 years ago, 70, 80, like the grandmothers interviewed, they all grew up in a culture where there were nothing on top. They just put a cloth like this and everything was naked, so even like my father's sister, when they came, when I had interviewed, when they come ladki dekhne aate hain na, like to see, she was all naked only, like on top. It was not, there's, and women bathe, men are bathing, nobody was peeping because it was such a common part of the culture, to women, that women. And one of the grandmothers I interviewed, she said that the first time she ever had to wear a blouse was because her son was working in Chennai. So she had to go with him to Chennai. So when she wore the blouse, but the minute she returned, the minute she got off the station, she took off the blouse, and that's how she walked home. And for me, all those were, when I heard, it was news for me. I did not know that part of my culture before. When I, when the grandmothers, so and now if you see Kerala, it is a different story. But there is also a part of that, because especially North Malabar, compared, I think, even to the other parts of Kerala, it's very, where my parents are, it's become too much now. Kannur and all, there's a lot of moral policing. And if you see, we also have had these history of, invasions, not just the British, but that, in Tipu Sultan's time, soldiers would just run inside and they would touch or kidnap women, and imagine even women naked. I mean, it's like, and many of the Kerala women, if you see the women, they're very voluptuous, dark, beautiful, very, there's something very earthy about many of the women, and I wonder what made this in just 2 generations. So much shame. Now there's so much shame. When I go to Kannur, I'm shocked that this is the same place that had just 60, 70 years ago. Columns and, people, men and women are, it's very interesting. So there's also something about that as well, that there's some fear around that, of safety, women's safety and the gaze, and it's interesting.
And how the shame and the fear got internalized.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, now in Kerala, to walk out wearing a short skirt is not going to be a pleasant experience.
It won't be.
And that's today I'm talking about.
Forget short hair. Sunita, can you imagine short hair in Kerala? It's not a great experience. Yeah.
It's not. So to an extent, everybody tells you also what is good for you, what you need to wear, how you need to tie your hair, whether you need to wear the puttu, and all of that, no? And this would be public. So you do not have any relationship with. So, sometimes just the hassle of this battling that,
It's too much.
it just makes one tired as to where to start and where to go. And this whole thing about it being an invitation, it enrages me.
Yeah.
It enrages me to no end, because if we have to invite, we will invite with words. We don't need one code language in, hidden in our dress, that okay, this is code, please decode. This is invitation actually.
Yeah, let's just say it that's not code to the people watching.
And I just
Yeah.
cannot fathom that the convenience of believing that if we need to communicate, then we can't use our voice to communicate.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that it is and in both ways your voice is taken away.
Right.
First you're told what to wear, and then when you wear, then that's coded, because we can't use voice either ways. So it really enrages me. And just to state it bluntly here, that if we want something, we can ask in languages which we all know or can be translated. We do not need anything coded in any ways to ask. So, yeah.
How we dress is not an invitation to anybody of what we want. That I think is that has to, and it's also films, movies, the songs, how they make it show what when a girl is in this invitation mode, what she wears. You'll never see a fully covered sari, like something has to show invitation, sexual invitation in in films, Bollywood. And I think it is high time that we really make noise that that's not okay. You can make a woman wear whatever and do whatever song or whatever she does, but it has to be empowering for her. It's not to entice, and to show that, this, so I'm wearing it, come. So then you walk around, you hear, guys singing, guys saying these things to you because they think because you're wearing, you're like this actress trying to give me a sign to chase you, follow you, and I think this is high time that kind of irresponsibility has to be called out. And it's like, it really makes my blood kind of get heated up, to see that kind of. But I feel Bangalore as a city is pretty cool that way. I love Bangalore. Like in my building, we are so much in the outskirts, but I see so many, girls and women wearing shorts, walking around, and it just makes me suddenly I forget that I'm in India.
It's true.
Yeah, I have like, this is so nice, and nobody is like bothered.
Yeah, nobody bothers.
Nobody is bothered. You walk even in my Vijayanagar, which is a very conservative city. I see now, girls and women, and wear whatever, and people are like, nobody is bothered at all. Bangalore is really setting some,
It is. I totally agree. I think
yeah,
we have come a long way as a city, to include and be inclusive of so many different cultures and the ways of dressing to food and everything. But more than that, the sense of safety one feels.
Yes.
At whatever time of the day.
Or night.
And I'm saying this because I'm very hyper vigilant, coming from a space where in broad daylight, I have not experienced safety. So yes, it does a lot. The collective sense of safety that one is able to express, walk, wear, or Yeah, be, just be.
Yeah, and I think as more and more of us women, we claim our own bodies and we start wearing what we wish to wear, that's what creates comfort. What you have not seen, and you really don't know how to even hold space for that. Yeah, I think men are afraid. Women's bodies make you vulnerable. Makes me vulnerable, it makes me to see, like, and I'm sure it makes men vulnerable and they don't know what to do with this vulnerability. So then the one who makes you feel that becomes the cause of anger. And I don't know, it's interesting. It's something to be explored with, for men to explore.
Yeah, a very interesting new tech fact that's happening. So Instagram is a new technology, right? I mean, that sense a new platform.
Yeah.
If there's a picture of a woman with her nipples showing, her breasts and her nipples showing, it is auto censored by the app as inappropriate content, and it is not allowed to be screened. So you can't show nude, you cannot show something. But I could have the same exact woman with her nipples covered with two smiley faces of emojis.
Oh,
Then
really?
that's
Yeah.
fine. But there's something wrong with the nipple showing of a woman. It is just so you could have a completely nude woman as long as there's two fingers covering the nipple, it's okay. The nipple may not show. A man's nipple, however, is completely okay. It can be shown in broad daylight, it can be seen under a coconut tree, it can be seen on a yacht, it can be seen on a scooter, it can be seen while he's smoking a cigarette, it can be seen while he's scratching his chest. So there's so much discrepancy just in the way we understand these two very simplistic body parts. Um, it's amusing to hear. I mean, and also there's been a lot of controversy of late about whether a woman can be seen breastfeeding in public or not breastfeeding in public, and then she needs to cover up, or she needs to take it somewhere, or you need to breastfeed, in a private area. I just don't get it. I do not understand what is this obsession with the breast and the goddamn nipple. It is just a body organ, and I was just resonating with what you were saying. The more people just have it out and see it, the less weird it becomes. And shame and secrecy go hand in hand. The less is secret, the more it's visible, the less there is shame. It is just as simple as that. It stops being erotic.
Right.
Just, I mean, that's just the answer.
And
Because,
yeah, no, no, go ahead, Neha. I
I mean,
just
human bodies are not, I mean, they're largely similar, right? Like what you have, I have. It's only a variation of. You don't get aroused seeing watermelons. They're just watermelons. So the same thing applies. Just see more of them, and it'll become less uh, obsessive with the whole collective conscious, and that's just the thing.
Yeah, and
I
it's
believe.
weird that women's breasts and nipples are like, because that's where we all grew up sucking at. I mean, it is, it's, you have, if you see it, you should do this. You should do this. That's all I'd say. That's what gave you life. That's how we all grew up. And we know today through research, if a mother is not breastfeeding the baby has issues later in life. Baby does have. So I would love to see a culture where men, naked bodies are seen and they're more common. And when you see them, you can, when you see a woman's body, you can say, thank you for giving me this gift of opening my heart, looking at you. I feel something wet and moist, and it's okay. I don't have to target it at you. I can hold it. I can hold my wetness and my juiciness and my softness that you invoke in me, and I bow down to you for that. I wish for a culture, and it's not that even in US, this is not the culture. It's not that, there's no honor of that body. It's not honor, right? It's that honoring of that body, not objectifying it, but knowing that it's very subjective. A woman's body is very subjective for anyone. It's subjective. Because you cannot feel it in you, you make it objective. That which, otherwise it's our mother's body. It's the woman that you love. I mean, there's so many of a woman's body is something very different. It's so different. It's like the earth. And yeah, I'm having that chant, which is a chant. of
Devi Kavacham.
no, not Devi Kavacham. That the whole earth is the mountains are the breasts. It's a stuti to Mother Earth. Yeah, it's like 2/3 of this earth is your body, naked body. The mountains are your breasts. The Sanskrit chant, and to you, O Mother Earth, I bow down. And as the morning when I keep my feet on your body, I seek your forgiveness. I mean, from that culture, now where are we? You know, it's so I think that is something to, yeah.
It all comes down to educating each other. I
Yeah.
think the gaze also is the male gaze also
Yeah.
is pretty bad. I mean, I used to be so comfortable. Today, in my 40s, I feel uncomfortable wearing gym tights for walks where I would wear shorts, but I've totally switched over to loose, baggy clothes only because I'm not comfortable with the gaze that people, a strata of men give to
Yeah.
the
Different.
lower part of the body, and they're very curious. I don't know, it makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. One thing that I'm practicing, this is an invitation. Sometimes is when someone gazes, or when not, it's not a gaze, it's actually a stare. If you just hold that stare, you will immediately see the other person completely rattle. They have no strength here. It is not somebody doing anything out of some strength. Then you say, yeah, like that. If you do, it's like they will be so shocked. It's a shock. They don't expect that, so when you meet back, so now I always meet back the stare, when they stare at me, I meet back. And sometimes I would be this way, I would
Yes.
do my brows, and I would say like that or something like that, and immediately that's not what they expected, and they will be like oh, something, they will look away or they're embarrassed. And I think we as even as women, we have to get out in groups where we also feel safe. Maybe if some of us don't feel safe, to get out in our bodies, so the society sees us in our bodies. And and even if there is that moral policing, instead of meeting it with rage, if we do our work, then we can also meet it with laughter and say, hey, what's the issue here? So I think that's also there, that sometimes it's we I think everything is, I think it's, we all are in our process of doing our work and showing up. And I think we have to show up, that we have to show up more as in groups, support each other. If someone feels that way, how do we support someone, another sister, and to meet that other gaze and go closer and say, hey, what's going on with you? What is it? Kabhi dekha nahi kya? Or something, something we have. I think it's time that, like, the break the chain and the dance, we have to think of creative ways of meeting the problem, because only then, because learning only happens for anybody, this is my experience, when we are calm, and when there is joy, and when there is laughter. When there is rage and anger and tension, no learning happens. So how do, as women, how do we do our work? We keep finding those spaces to, you're staring, just a little shake. Is that good enough for you? Is that good enough? I tell you, you'll be so embarrassed, the person in front, and sometimes doing it alone, to go that extent, you're a little scared. But if you have few others with you, you can easily
Rita,
yeah.
I just want to add to what you said, and it's coming very strongly to me. It's like, it's okay to receive compliments, knowing that you don't have anything to give back. So you find my skin beautiful, you find my hair beautiful, thank you. I don't have anything to give back to you.
Right.
Because even this, when women are complimented, we kind of jerk off.
Yeah, we don't take
We call it danger. It's not always danger.
Yeah, it's not.
This human being is really finding something resonance and is giving it to you. Take it or live it, but you don't have anything to give back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Someone shouts out sexy booty, you can turn around and say, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
nothing have to be given back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very important point. And that's where our work also, of our shame can also be defensive. Our shame, so we releasing our shame will help us come out of that. Yeah. I didn't even realize, I was telling Preeti, Neha and Shreya that we will end by 7:15. Today we don't have nothing much. You have a very short piece.
That's exactly what I thought.
I was thinking about that too. We don't it.
This is a juicy topic for all of us. Very alive topic. This is such a alive topic for us, because nobody questions what the other wears. It's always what we wear becomes everyone's topic of conversation. Yeah. And yeah, women can wear whatever they want. Anyone can wear whatever they want. Men can wear sari if you want to, please. It's totally okay. Wear what you wish to wear. It's okay. Dress has nothing to do with who I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so wear whatever you wish to wear. Wear colorful, wear, let's bring your vibrancy. We are such a vibrant life. So that was a beautiful discussion. And did you all dance in the beginning with the break the chain? Yeah, I think we'll do it every day. So, we also then bring some lightness as we enter, it shifts the tone. And now we are going into more and more exciting. Today is, I think, the kind of all the pieces coming next are very juicy, erotic, exciting, fun, So now we are really going into a different kind of a rhythm of coming out of shame and really wearing our juiciness on us. So have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being here and your patience, and that we have, I apologize for this. I didn't see the time as well. So have a beautiful evening and nourish yourself, take good care of yourself. And we meet tomorrow with the Kuchi Snorcher. Yeah, Thursday, right? Yeah, we meet with the Kuchi Snorcher tomorrow. So blessed be. Take good care. Just hold on 1 second. I'm going to stop the live.